ESPN's Arda Ocal joins us to talk about the Sharks from a national perspective, plus some Star Wars talk.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're joined by ESPN's Arda Ocal, where we talk about the Sharks from a national perspective. We talk about Macklin Celebrini. We talk about a William Eklund breakout. We also kind of look at this season and some expectations that the Sharks might start to kind of build this year. Plus, we finish the show by talking about one thing that we both love a lot. That is Star Wars. So really fun conversation. We mix in some hockey in there as well, where we actually tried to put together a hockey team using Star Wars characters / species. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is right around the corner. Visit FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. And now we bring on Arda Ocal of ESPN. You've seen him. He does the highlights. He's on NHL stuff. Noted Star Wars fan. Keep a pin in that. Arda, how's it going, buddy?
Doing good, JD. It's finally here. We are finally talking. We've traded some DMs, particularly around Henry Grand Admiral Thrun, which I know that you had been waving the flag among the Sharks community, and like concurrently, I had like started, banging that drum, and that's sort of how we got connected because I was doing a Sharks broadcast, and then I was just like, which is also why I'm wearing this, by the way, because Thrawn is literally here. Yeah, there it is. See, we're rocking it already. But listen, this is how I'd like to start here, JD, if that's okay. Yeah. The trade is 1-for-1 among Sharks hockey player Star Wars connections here, right? We lose Henry Grand Admiral Thrun, yes, but we get maybe the biggest Star Wars fan in the league, Adam Gaudette, who literally has sleeves of like a sleeve of Star Wars tattoos. So, I mean, look, like if we're going to analyze the trade, I think the Sharks win this one. I think Gaudette's going to bring an infusion of Star Wars knowledge into the locker room. Yes. And he's going to be the one that's probably going to do the team outing to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So,
100%.
Yeah, I like this trade for the Sharks.
And we might have to sacrifice, Grand Admiral Throne. I don't think it was going to grow in a small market here, going to the biggest market in Toronto. This is a sacrifice we as Sharks fans have to make for the greater good of spreading the word of Grand Admiral Throne. So,
can I tell you? So you'll be happy about this. So as soon as I heard that trade, I texted Steve Dangle and Adam Wild, like them, and I was like, you must hammer this nickname. And Adam responded, oh, it is already done. And I'm like, perfect. Yes, it has a chance. It has a chance, Sharks Nation. It has a chance.
Sometimes if you love something, you have to let it go. And I think we're doing our part here in letting this go. But we will talk a lot of Star Wars at the end. But I did want to have you on since, you covered the league from a national standpoint, working for ESPN, the worldwide leader, et cetera, et cetera. The Sharks, we know, are going through a rebuild, but it does seem like the Sharks are kind of everybody's pet team, right? And you talk to people and everyone's like, yeah, man, I see what the Sharks are doing. So what do you kind of sense from like kind of just San Jose on the national scale and kind of what they're doing? What's your take on it?
And I, first of all, shout out to the Locked On Sharks, but also the Locked On Podcast Network, because when I host games, I definitely listen to the last maybe week of podcasts leading up to the game, because I think you guys do a great job of covering the team at a local level. You guys are definitely in my rotation, like when I'm doing a Sharks game or etc. Like I've friends across the network now because I do that.
In advance.
Yeah. It's a great group of people. So
yes.
I would say it's funny how people view the Sharks versus how people view the Blackhawks right now. Like I compare those two teams obviously because of Celebrini and Bedard. But like right now, one of the questions I legitimately heard, and I'm sure that Sharks fans are asking the same question, is has Celebrini had a better career so far in the NHL, like short as it might be, than Bedard? Like it could the case be made that Celebrini could have a better NHL career than Connor Bedard? Now, I think that's a silly question to ask now. I think that it's way too early to be asking that question, but I understand why people are asking the question because of things like, look at the vibes in the Sharks locker room. Look at the content that Celebrini and Will Smith are collaborating on versus what we see from Connor Bedard and the demeanor sometimes that we see on the bench, etc. And let's be fair, Bedard had like infinite hype, right? Like he was the biggest prospect since Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby kind of ilk in terms of prospect hype. Right. And so if he doesn't get 50 goals in a season or 100 points and he's not like, lighting it up, then people are going to like be immediately scrutinized, not just because he was a first overall pick, but because he had that much hype. So Celebrini gets a little bit shielded from that because it was so soon afterwards, but Mike Greer's doing a great job, building pieces there. I think the vibe nationally is, to your point, like I like what you said there, the pet team, like everyone's second favorite team is the San Jose Sharks right now. And I'll also say, like, as a longtime hockey fan, like I put the Sabres up there too. Like if there's a team that if your team isn't going to win the Stanley Cup, you would want to see win a Stanley Cup, San Jose might be number one on a lot of people's lists right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've suffered a lot of heartbreak throughout our lives.
Yeah.
It's always that question, right? Would you rather win a championship or would you rather your team be good for 15 years? Unfortunately, the Sharks are a part of that. Like our team was really good for 15 years. It kind of reminds me of the Eagles for the longest time, right? It's just like a really, really great team and just could never get over the hump until they finally actually did the thing and got over the hump. But yeah, the San Jose, it's been. Well, going back to like what you said about Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini, it's kind of when I first started covering the Sharks in like 2018, it was there was still Marlowe and Thornton and a lot of those old guys there, and we joked and called it like the teal curtain because it was just so hard to get anything out of them. And now you see like with these younger players like Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini, like the curtain's starting to lift. We're starting to get a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. And I think the Sharks have done a good job of, giving these guys more access and putting these guys out there because I think they realize like Macklin Celebrini is probably going to be one of those guys who's, among the 5 players who's going to be considered the face of the league. And, it's probably going to be Connor McDavid until Connor McDavid decides to stop playing hockey. But Celebrini is going to be most likely up there if he continues to kind of go the way that we think he's going to go. So I think the Sharks are just, they learned like we can't have Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau. Everyone loved those guys, but like just couldn't be the same.
To your point about that, though, I think another reason why the Sharks thrive and have the vibe they do, and I'm not saying Chicago doesn't have a good alumni system, but San Jose has a good alumni system in San Jose. Like Celebrini and Will Smith are living with Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton, right? Like the alumni system is so strong, and you can tell that Jumbo and Marleau want the team to succeed, and they want to contribute in like meaningful ways. Like, don't get me wrong, like the Blackhawks have a good alumni system, and like Nick Foligno is a great leader, right? Like he's a very good leader on the ice, but like the Sharks just have this really good system to put your stars in a great position to succeed on and off the ice, Like you could credit like the whole Sidney Crosby Mario Lemieux thing, right? Like you could credit a lot of Sidney Crosby's success and at least mentally like the mindset of a elite hockey player to being around Mario Lemieux as much as he was, right? Like that's a direct correlation for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and for Macklin Celebrini, right? Having Joe Thornton, who was a number 1 overall pick, his career, I think, started a little bit slow. And, I think once he got traded to San Jose, we saw him really take off. But again, never was able to do the thing. And then what is Macklin Celebrini been doing all summer? I don't know, hanging around Sidney Crosby all summer. So, amazing. And, trying to soak up as much information from him. So, yeah, I feel like.
Was he at Marchand's Cup celebration? Was Celebrini there? Was he in that picture?
I don't know. Is he old enough? He had 6 at the
I guess so. Well, no, I think the age limit is different in Nova Scotia. Yes, I was curious if he was. Fair. I was just curious if he was at the gathering. I wonder if he was at the. It escapes me. There was a hilarious picture of like Marchand and his buddies like picking him up and putting him in the cup on top of the cup. But like Crosby was there, McKinnon was there, maybe Celebrini was there too. Anyway.
But yeah, it's great to see. I feel like the Sharks did the hard part. Well, one of the hard things in landing the superstar, and it feels like we're in good hands here going forward with Celebrini. And yes, you still have to build around it, but like Will Smith had a really great second half of the season. You have Michael Misa, who I think plays in San Jose this year, and like watching the more tape I watch him,
good, right? He could be sneaky good, man. Like he man, he has flashes of brilliance when he was playing junior. Holy cow. He looked good.
The more I watch Misa, the more just the little things that he does. He's got that dog. Like Celebrini has that dog in him. Michael Misa also has that dog in him. Just that never say die attitude. And I think those two guys down the middle is going to, it's going to be pretty nice for San Jose. So. All right, before we continue with Arda, we start talking about kind of expectations for this 25-26 San Jose Sharks team as they start to kind of hopefully take some baby steps here. Before we get to all that, do have to take a quick break. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Again, I love the Joe Burrow MVP talk. I think Bengals are going to have to put up a lot of points. I think their defense is going to be trash. And if they're anywhere good, it's going to be because of Joe Burrow scoring a bajillion points. So visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel. Play your game. I do have to ask, like, as you know, rebuilds are, the fun part of rebuilds is the offseason, and then you get to the actual on ice, and a lot of the time it's a lot of painful. But we've seen the Sharks, adding some pieces when veterans, guys like Jeff Skinner, they traded for Alexander Nedeljkovic, they retooled the blue line here. Is it reasonable to start to see some more wins? Again, I'm not expecting this to be a playoff team, but like a Ducks type jump, do you feel like that's a reasonable jump for San Jose this year? Or do you think it's just going to be another year of probably picking in the top 3?
I had this conversation with Columbus last year. I was like, man, they look like they're almost ready to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And they were competitive, right? Like they're competitive for in large part. Yeah. I don't know if they're they're not a playoff team in my opinion.
They're not
right now.
Playoff.
Yeah. I think they win some more games. I think the trajectory is upward. I don't think they regress. I don't think they're the dead last in the league. Could they stay competitive? Could they be scenario? Could they be 5 points out of a wild card spot in February, and suddenly we're talking about, hey, maybe they pick up a couple players at the trade deadline and make a playoff push? Maybe. I don't know if they're going to be in fire sale. I don't think that's happening. I don't think fire sale's happening. I just don't see them collapsing and having this calamity kind of season, especially with what they're building there. So yeah, I'd say maybe a couple steps away. I also, Sharks fans are going to hate me to say this, JD, but I wouldn't rush it either. You want to develop these players for another 15 years of greatness, right? Where hopefully one or two Stanley Cups finally come to San Jose, right? That's what that's what you want, but you can see the foundation being built. That's the thing. There were a lot of games. If you were to go back in the season, you could venture to guess that the Sharks looked more competitive down in the third period than pretty much all their contemporaries. If you look at every other team that was in the bottom 10, the Sharks, they just played with care. There were teams battling for playoff spots that didn't have as much fight as the Sharks did last season when they were down in the third period. Like, that tells you something, right?
Yeah. And I do think too, like, how many times do we see like San Jose's got a lead with going to the third period and then they squander a lead? I do think this guy Askarov, who's coming to town and is going to be in the NHL next year, I think he's going to be a massive boost on the blue line in net, and compared to what we've seen other than Mackenzie Blackwood the past couple of years. But it has been a rotating cast of kind of cast off goalie, and even Mackenzie Blackwood was a cast off goalie. I had people who were angry that the Sharks traded a 6th-round pick for Mackenzie Blackwood when it happened. And I was like, you traded a 6th-round pick for Mackenzie Blackwood, you got a 2nd-round pick out of it. And then, but like, I think Askarov just solidifying, and even if he's just like league average, that'll be such a huge boost compared to what we saw for a good chunk over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, sure. And that goaltending, what was it, Georgiev, I think, and a couple of other players. Yeah, like, it was just unfortunate that a lot of those third period leads were squandered because, like, I remember watching a couple Sharks games where it was like, ooh, that one was a tough goal, like they got into the zone easily, the puck probably squeezed by the tender, maybe like, wish he had one back kind of situation. So it's like, okay, you shore up a couple of things here and there, you get a good goaltender, or like you said, league average goaltender, and suddenly you're winning
average
games.
Right now would be
you're winning
miracle.
Games that you didn't think you would win last season, right? So that's that's a.
I know the big question for San Jose, right, is you have Michael Misa, who's I think they play him, and I think he does the Will Smith thing of like maybe get some development days early on, but eventually they kind of trick the training wheels off. Sam Dickinson, unfortunately, is kind of stuck in that old position now, especially with the new rules where players are going to college and stuff like that. But Dickinson's stuck in the old guard of like going to the NHL or going back to the OHL. I think he sticks around. I don't know how much Sam Dickinson you watch in London and stuff, but what do you think of Dickinson's chances to kind of make an impact in the NHL as a 19-year-old?
Yeah, not as much as I should have, especially coming onto a Sharks podcast. But I will say, in hearing people talk about him, he could certainly, I think he could use a little bit more seasoning, but I wonder if it's a situation where he does get some looks in the NHL. I don't know if it's a full season, but it could be like what you said, go back for a while, come get called up, see what happens, kind of thing. I don't know if he's ready now based on what I've heard, based on the conversations that I've had about him especially around the NHL draft, whether he's ready today, but maybe the Sharks will have a need and they're like, you know what, let's take a chance.
I think he starts, at least gets his 9 games. That's my guess. And then they make a decision from there. So for San Jose, as we kind of, hopefully start to see a little bit more wins and stuff here, who do you think is the one player that maybe the national media is not paying attention to enough? And why is his name William Eklund?
Yeah, he's terrific, right? Like he definitely is a game changer. It's really because, it's because when we're doing Sharks games, we're focusing very much on, players like Macklin Celebrini and, other name players. And I think it takes one phenomenal, like, I guess the ingredients to an Eklund breakout on the national scale would be Sharks game, Eklund hat trick, Sharks on the up, battling for playoff contention. I say hat trick, but let's just call it a monster game. Yeah,
monster performance.
And that would be all right, let's talk to him, let's, sing his praises. Why haven't we been talking enough about this guy? That's what would happen. That I'm inventing the scenario in which that would happen.
I mean, every Sharks fan's like, hat trick on hat day doesn't do enough for you. And they're like absolutely horrid 23-24 season. But no, against the Blues, where one, they sweep the Blues. They basically knocked the Blues out of the playoffs. And yeah, Eklund hat trick on hat day. And good Bay Area native Devin Cooley gets his first NHL win. Special moment in Sharks fans history. But
there it is.
Yeah, I do think like Eklund, I mean, again, I'm like the massive Eklund defender. Like he can do no wrong to me. He's like 100% biased, et cetera, et cetera. But I think like it's, we talk a lot about Celebrini for sure, right? And we talk about Will Smith, and we're going to talk about Michael Misa. But I feel like he always kind of gets, he's like the third wheel unfortunately, for a lot of this. And he does a lot of the little things that kind of help make Celebrini and Smith's lives easier. And I think, like you said, hopefully this year is the year where I think he starts to kind of get a little bit more of that national recognition. So maybe we just need a good nickname for him. That's it. So
yeah, Grand Admiral's taken, so we got to keep digging.
We got to keep digging there. So, all right, before we continue with Arda, and we put together a hockey team made out of Star Wars characters, which I think is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's pretty good. I just need to take a quick break. Have you ever decided at the last minute you want to head to the ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and suddenly you realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Price on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch, and you get incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and the lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official ticket partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for exciting upcoming MLB games. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON, NHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guarantee. I've been meaning to tell you about my new favorite jeanswear brand, Doer. It's been 3, 2, 1. I've been meaning to tell you about my new favorite jeanswear brand, Doer. I've been living in their performance denim relaxed fit, and honestly, they've completely changed the game for me. The timing right now couldn't be better. Doer is opening a brand new store in Hayes Valley on August 27th, and let me tell you why it's worth making the trip. I've been wearing Doer jeans to work, running errands, whatever. The great thing about them is not only they look great, they feel great. They have 5 times the stretch the denim of traditional denims to get that perfect fit without feeling restricted. And right now, Doer combines classic jeanswear style with the comfort and performance of athletic wear without sacrificing style. And Doer will be opening a brand new store in Hayes Valley on August 27th. Head on over to 567 Hayes Street and mention my code LOCKEDONSF in store for 15% off your first order, or go to shopdoer.com/LOCKEDONSF. That's DUER for 15% off online. Trust me, once you try them, you'll never want to wear anything else again. Speaking of Star Wars, so we're going to do like all Star Wars from now on, because I have like the guy when it comes to Star Wars. You literally host a Star Wars podcast. Never tell me the odds. And we're both big Star Wars fans. So that's how we like literally started talking. So, I'm going to play this very dumb game with you that I thought of. We are going to combine to put together a 6-man hockey team, right? 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie, based using Star Wars species. And I will, we're going to work together on this.
Okay.
The easy one is a Wookiee playing right-handed defenseman, because we have 20 years of it with Brent Burns playing defense. So
yeah, that's natural. Yeah, sure.
Right there. So that let's start there. Well, I think that's a very easy, right? Very mobile, very smart players. We've seen Brent Burns do it for 20 plus years in the NHL. So I think that's an easy start there. A nice easy softball for the right-handed defenseman. So where do you want to kind of go with this?
I'm putting a Wampa in net. So obviously familiar with ice, cold conditions, will be very happy on the ice. Large stature, moves fast. We'll pick a Wampa that actually has both arms.
Yes.
But I'm saying let's find a Wampa. Let's find a Wampa and throw them in net. Yeah.
My other, when I thought about this, you could do the like fat guy in goal thing where you put a hut in net. My problem though is if you have to pull the goal, you got to start with like 10 minutes left because trying to get them off the ice.
Yeah, like he's like slithering by the time it's like last minute of play. He's barely making the bench.
He's barely making to the trying to get him over the net. So yeah, I like the Wampa in net. I really, really like that one there. So I feel like
Jabba would also be horrible for helping teammates get like those bonuses because he'd be so like invested in money. It's like, oh, if this player gets like one more assist, they'll get like a $500,000 bonus, and Jabba's like, doing everything he can to stop it because he's like a lone guy, and he's like, no extra
Jackie
money.
Moon situation here.
Yeah, just completely denies it, just shuts it down. Jabba would not be a good teammate either. Like, I just really feel like Jabba would bring the vibes down in the locker room.
Excellent GM, though. I feel like Jabba as a GM, probably not like,
as a GM, shrewd.
He's definitely like your 8 games in the NHL. Later, back to juniors. We're sliding that contract. He
has 100%. He has Macklin Celebrini frozen in carbonite. You see what happens when you play hardball? Yeah.
Oh yeah, those contract negotiations are brutal with him. All right,
tough.
I do want to I'm going to start here with figuring out the.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are we picking force sensitive characters that could just like force push the puck into the net?
I do think it would be a little unfair.
I agree. Like, I can't be like, oh, let's put Luke Skywalker at center and just have him be our Connor McDavid and just like push the puck everywhere.
That was why, like,
go.
In net, you could just just put like a Jedi in net, and they're just
that's cheating to me. That's cheating.
We 100% cannot. Yeah, just normal characters or normal people.
Okay.
In there. He's not force sensitive, but General Grievous at center though.
I was just gonna say 2 sticks. We're bending the rules here. 2 sticks, super fast. Like, he's taking shots like 200-mile-an-hour shots. He can match up left or right, handed. It does not matter. Exactly. I like this a lot.
I know we're supposed to be like. He's his own species or whatever, but he's a mechanical man now, I guess. But I think he's definitely one of those players where I think we'll kind of bend the rules for him. So I kind of want to put Bosk as my left-handed defenseman.
Okay.
So you have you got big boys on the back end right there, right?
Yeah,
so you have a Wookiee and you have Bosk, just massive.
Do you make like a bounty hunter line? Like, do you have like a Mandalorian and a Bosk and you just make a Cad Bane? Just put like a whole
that's your fourth line.
Like a whole bounty hunter. Yeah.
100%.
The bounty hunters. The bounty hunters.
Yes.
That's their gimmick. They just have they have a line name. There you go.
Yes,
we did it.
But, bounty hunter line on the fourth line.
Oh, we know who the coach is going to be. Wait, where is he? There he is. Wait, where'd he go? Here he is.
Oh, Grand Admiral
Thrawn. We know who the coach is.
Easily. Best tactician. Yes.
Easily. We already have a coach. Like, that's locked in. Thrawn is our coach by far. He'll like study every single playbook of every single team.
Yes. 100.
Can't surprise him.
Break down the artwork of each team and what it means for what they're
whatever the next neutral zone trap is, he will invent it.
Oh, 100%. He's gonna ruin the game. It's gonna be great.
They're gonna rue the day that Thrawn joined the league because he's making tactics that he doesn't care about fan boredom. Okay, he doesn't care. If every game is 1-0 for the rest of his career, he doesn't care. Okay, all that matters is he's raising the Coruscant Cup. All right, that's what matters.
Okay, we got to figure out some wingers.
Wingers.
Where do you want to go? Who do you think wingers?
I think the Yoda species minus the Force, and I think of Yoda's. I mean, okay, maybe this is a little forced, but Yoda's lightsaber battle with Dooku, right, where he's like flipping everywhere, and I'm just like,
yes,
it would be impossible to hit this guy. Like, I feel like he also short stature already. So, like, plenty of players are going to be, he's going to be tough to check. He's going to be tough to cover. So, I feel like we need some sort of, either it's Yoda species or another short species to get around tough situations on the ice.
I like that. And I think kind of in the same vein, maybe one of the Twi'leks, I feel like, they got a little bit of, not the biggest guys, but you have plenty of beef on the back end. You got Grievous in the middle. Grievous is a big guy there too. I kind of like that. Also, the third line is entirely clones because they're just interchangeable.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, we have a whole clone line. And this is our LTIR cap circumvention. So what happens is a clone gets injured, okay?
Yes.
A clone gets injured and another clone just replaces them. And no one knows what to do about the salary cap and whatever because there's just millions of clones. There's like 1,000 Jango Fetts just waiting to play. Right? And so they're just like, we don't know what to do. So there's a whole like Star Wars hockey CBA meeting. And there's like a whole thing. Like this is like the general manager meetings in Florida are like completely overrun by this big clone problem. And
then the tax situation was bad. Yeah.
Yes. And basically they have to invent their own like Order 66 basically to stop the problem. So there's going to be like some sort of version of on ice Order 66 that's going to like to neutralize the clones.
The Jedi finally get their revenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an opposite. Exactly, it's an opposite.
I think though, I mean, with Thrun as head coach and with Jabba the Hutt as the GM, I think they'll figure it out. Though, like, they will figure out a loophole for the type of thing. So, all right, get one last. We'll kind of get you out. So, I do, we've starting to kind of get more pieces of stuff coming up. Ahsoka season 2, which is coming here soon. How excited are you for like Obi-Wan, who's supposed to make an appearance in Ahsoka season 2?
I don't know if that's like I also saw that he said he misspoke and it was Hera actually in the series. And so I don't know if that's actually the case. If it is,
your Disney's
then that'd
like
be awesome.
Right outside the
they're like, hey, don't tell. I genuinely don't know. If he does, awesome. And if not, then I mean, look, Ewan McGregor is doing a ton of conventions and panels. He is consistently there with Hayden Christensen. Of course, that's going to spark fan interest. Of course, people are going to be like, we would love to see this on screen again. He's expressed interest in it. Hayden Christensen has said, hey, I would love to continue to play Anakin, right? Like, I'm not saying no to that. Like, like, especially if he's going to keep wearing hockey hats on set like Dave Filoni does, right? Like there's a lot of hockey fandom on those Star Wars sets, which makes me very happy. So, but like, I'm excited for the last year of Star Wars has been very fun for me.
Yes.
There's been a lot of varied Star Wars series. There's really been something for everyone and different fandoms. Like Skeleton Crew was like an 80s Amblin adventure, right?
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
The Acolyte had like awesome lightsaber battles. Like that was my big takeaway from that. And Andor was like prestige television,
Andor season 2 was some of the best television. Like it reminded me of like just it's like prime Game of Thrones night. Like when Game of Thrones was like peak, right? And it's like you're talking to your friends about it for like the next week of like, oh my god, like like what happened? It's
amazing.
So they nailed that. Like, and it's so hard, especially when like this is going to be like how it has to end. How do we get to this destination? And they did such a great job of just like getting you ready and getting you kind of to that destination with Andor and like going through it with this character. And like as soon as I finished watching season 2, I had to rewatch Rogue One, and I sat my 11-year-old down to watch Rogue One because he'd never seen it before. So I sat him down, we watched it. And the same reaction I had at the end of Rogue One, he had the exact same reaction that I did with it. And it was such a great, just kind of nice little bow on that moment there.
Absolutely, so good.
100%.
But yeah, to that point, like I'm like the Mandalorian Grogu movie, second
Yes.
season of Ahsoka. There's a couple of animated series. Like there's a lot of exciting things coming up that I am like I'm also like among the Star Wars fandom that will watch everything that gets released. Like that's the level of my fandom. So it's not like I'm gonna skip anything intentionally. So of course I'm gonna be excited because there's plenty to consume, and I love consuming it. So yeah, like there's a lot that I'm particularly excited about. And also like a lot of actors like Ryan Gosling that are now joining the Star Wars universe, you know, directors and writers that are really, really interesting, that have done really cool things in Hollywood, that are now joining the Star Wars universe. I hope Tony Gilroy one day returns to Star Wars. Like he did a masterpiece with Andor, to your point. I hope that at some point in the future, whether it's 5, 10, 15 years, whatever, in coming up, I hope he returns to Star Wars and maybe he does something completely different. But like, it's cool that we have these touch points with people stretching across Hollywood that want to work in Star Wars, which is awesome.
And Matt Smith playing a villain. I mean,
so good.
Right? Sign me up.
Right?
Sign me up for that. I know I can't believe A New Hope is going to be turning 50 here, like really soon. I'm already really excited to take my kid. I mean, even when they re-released Revenge of the Sith, right? I had such a great kind of full circle moment. I've already taken up way too much of your time here, so we'll finish up here. But like, my dad, like when they re-released Star Wars in '96, right? And like my dad taking me to go, and I was 11 at the time, and my dad taking me to go see New Hope, which I watched a bajillion times on VHS. I worn it out a bajillion times, but my dad taking me to New Hope and seeing it for the first time in theaters. And then, my 20 years now, or several, I guess, 20 years later, me taking my 30 years later, me taking my kid to go see a Star Wars movie that I saw. And I watched a bajillion times, and he's watched a bajillion times, but taking him, and it's just this great full circle moment of like, we went on like a Sunday night. He had school the next day. It was like the only time that we could go. He didn't care. It was such a great time, even though we both know exactly what's going to happen. We've seen it, but just getting that experience together. And I think, I cannot wait.
That's awesome, dude. Great story. That's what it's all about, though, right? Like just the family connections and just loving the art together. It's really cool.
So, Arda, I've taken up way too much of your time. Where can the people find you? What do you got coming out? I know you're enjoying your off season before this gets all crazy again here in October. So
yeah, exactly. Trying to enjoy every last second of a little bit of time off here and there, but keeping busy at ESPN. And then the new hockey season. I can't wait to see the Sharks. What are you saying? The Sharks make the playoffs, surprise first round win. What else are we saying? Celebrini 40 goal season, 50 goal. What are we saying? And then and also Adam Gaudette leading Star Wars night at in San Jose. Also doing something for May the 4th. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to all of this definitely happening. All of it.
Definitely happening. Who's your way too early Stanley Cup pick? Is it just Florida until Florida stops doing it?
They have a core 10 now. I saw that online. I'm like, man, it's like no one wants to leave Florida. It's unbelievable. Way too early. I mean, I want to say, Florida, Edmonton, I feel like is still going to be competitive. Here's the thing. Yep. This is what I want to leave on. I think we can all agree, whether we are, we're Sharks fans listening to this podcast, but I think we can all agree as hockey fans that if Connor McDavid does not win at least one Stanley Cup in his career, it would be a shame for the sport of hockey.
100%. Yeah. It's the Dan Marino thing. I grew up a Dolphins fan. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, so exactly.
The whole, it's Dan Marino, the greatest quarterback to never win the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's just that whole little comma. Dan Marino, the greatest quarterback to never win the Super Bowl.
That's tough, because if he had won, then he could have been one of the greatest ever. Like, McDavid to me is 2 milestones away from legitimately being in the conversation for the hockey Mount Rushmore, which is pretty untouchable, right? Like the Mount Rushmore of hockey is almost like a very untouchable Like people know they're 4, and it's always the same 4, right?
Yeah.
But if Connor McDavid, in my opinion,
Luke
if Connor
Cunnin,
McDavid, Luke Cunnin,
Noah Gregor,
yep, absolutely, Henry Thrun, and
Henry Thrun,
yep, absolutely. We all know our We all know our and Brian Hayward with the Sharks, like the shark mask.
Yes.
If Connor McDavid A wins a Stanley Cup, and B gets to 2,000 career points, which I believe he's going to do it by like 35. Yeah. Like he's going to be the next guy to do it. Okay, like he's going to be the next guy to do it. If he gets those 2 milestones in his career, he has done enough, in my opinion, to warrant being in the Mount Rushmore conversation of all time, best hockey player of all time.
I mean.
That's my criteria because there will be a lot of other boxes that will be checked along that path and along the way, but those are the 2 milestones where I'm like, okay, these are good markers to have that can be in a conversation. So
that's good. I'm about to think about that a little bit more. Yeah, I really like that though. But Edmonton. Yeah, it would be a shame if Edmonton does, if not Edmonton, but if Connor McDavid just never gets a chance, and especially losing twice to the same team. And maybe they should have traded for a goalie. Who knows? Anyway, Arda, again, where can the people find you? Plug your podcast, all that good stuff.
So. Yeah, Never Tell Me the Odds is our ESPN official Star Wars podcast. You can find it wherever you download your podcast. Just find me on social media. Thanks to you, JD. Thanks for having me on the show. But truly, thanks for the podcast because, like I said, I said this already, but I'm going to say it again. Like the Locked On Network, Locked On Sharks, if I'm doing Sharks game, Locked On Network, period, for whatever games I'm doing, I listen to at least a week leading up to the games that I'm about to cover because I find that you guys do a great job covering the teams, but also like you're connected and tied into the conversations that the fans are having, which is equally as important for me in my role. So I appreciate that very much.
My boss will be extremely happy to hear that. So thanks again, Arda. We'll talk again here really soon, buddy. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed what I thought was a really fun conversation with Arda, where we talk about the Sharks, how the national media views them. And plus we talk Star Wars because we're both huge Star Wars nerds, and it's the middle of August, guys. So I hope you guys had fun. Really fun conversation with him. Thanks to ESPN for making this happen. So make sure we'll be back we'll start getting more Sharks content as the training camp's right around the corner, guys. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until later, bye, friends.